Good evening, viewers. I'm Mohana for BBTV, and you are tuned into a special segment called Big Life. We are here going to be discussing with a member of Assembly, State Assembly. He is a popular person when it comes to local affairs and local politics. And we're going to be discussing today Digital National's Billionaire. So let's welcome onto screen YB Ronnie Liu of Sungai Pelik. Good evening, YB.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure is ours once again. YB, we've already preempted you, the topic for today is Digital National Berhad. And just to put it on record for the viewers, we were supposed to go live at 6 p.m. to discuss about the 5G network that is about to be rolled out in Klang Valley, but we could only get connected, rectified the connection issues. We've checked, there was nothing wrong with the studio or any of the infrastructures that we have, and it was purely connection issue that you faced and I myself faced. So YB, let's jump straight in. What is the matter here, and why is 5G, like you mentioned, is going to be enriching or rent-seeking government? It's going to be enriching a select few. So please give us the whole picture. What's going on with our 5G rollout?
Okay, we all know that even the layman will expect that we need a lot of money to roll out the 5G. Point taken. We know it costs a lot of money. But there are a lot of arguments, a lot of perceptions on this so-called Digital National at the moment. One is this Digital National Berhad is monopolistic in nature. That's one concern of all the telcos, all the consumers, including myself. And number two, there are various people have already expressed their concerns, including not only the telcos, but politicians like former Prime Minister Najib, which in September, he said something in the parliament. And then there are columnists like Rocky Brew are also saying something. But the government is very quiet. Nobody wants to really answer their concerns, our concerns. So, okay, I give you one example. Rocky Brew he is suggesting that by electing all the telcos to auction the 5G spectrum itself, just to auction the 5G spectrum itself to all the telcos, it can bring in about 11 to 12 billion ringgit. That will help very much in reducing the cost of on the part of the government, because the government has said something like it needs about 15 billion to roll out 5G. Okay, and then if the rollout is 15 billion, if you can auction the spectrum itself, can bring in 11 to 12 billion. Why not? And then it can break the so-called perception of the monopolistic nature of the company of Digital National Berhad. And Najib, he said that the shares of the Digital National should be sold to all the various telcos who are interested in the players, the telcos. That itself will also save a lot of money on the part of the government. We will save a lot of money. And if the government save a lot of money, then the consumers, the taxpayers, eventually will not pay so much. So these are all questions. And just now we are trying so hard to connect. Just the connectivity is already an issue. I was told, I'm not very sure, but I was told that our speed, our connectivity is one of the poorest in the ASEAN countries. Oh my God! I hope that's not true. But if you come to my constituency like Sungai Pelik, which is just if you stretch it to a straight line, it's less than 10 kilometers away from KLIA, our international airport. Only about 10 kilometers away. We don't have we have very poor connectivity until today. Very slow. So a lot. I'm sure all Malaysians are waiting for 5G, because we all know that 5G is supposed to be better and much faster and all that. But we need to start the 5G thing on the right footing. But I think we are not. We are not starting on the right footing. There's a lot of questions unanswered. Yeah, over to you.
So, YB, once again, let me just try to understand. You mentioned that, and columnist Rocky Brew has also written, Dato Sri Najib Razak, former Prime Minister, has also said that it should be auctioned out. So instead of the government spending 11 billion of the taxpayers' money, if it is auctioned out and the shares sold to the stakeholders and the players, the telco players, we will eventually make up to 12 billion from them. Right? That's what you said, right?
Yeah. I mean, if that's not true, how come the government are not rebutting it?
Yeah, so it's a very big question mark here.
If it's very true, then why the government is not doing it? Why they have to? You see, we all know that the best people to do the 5G thing are the players themselves, are the current people in business or people still running the business. Am I right?
That's
and
right.
These people have the expertise and the experience. Then you set up a new company. The new company will depend a lot on the consultants and experts and all that. But these are the people may not have the knowledge to really do it. And then we cannot afford to the 5G to be done not properly, not on the right footing. We are concerned because we have been experiencing a bad connectivity for so many years. We have been tolerating the bad connectivity. So we are hoping a lot on this 5G.
Okay. And YB, you mentioned you would want the actual players to be running it. DNB is headed by Augustus Ralph Marshall. He's a prominent businessman and he's well known in the telco sector. He set up Astro and Maxis. Are you not confident that he might be able to get it right, or probably yeah? Your comments.
I was told
seems like we have the right person.
I cannot comment on the personal level because I really don't know him and how much he know about this industry and all that. But what I know is the whole 5G thing, we know that the Maxis was given the rights to do it originally. And then we also heard about this when Ericsson's got the contract, it is not the cheapest, it's not the highest. I mean, it's one of the highest, if not the highest. And then Huawei actually asked for much little, but they didn't get it. And then we all know that Huawei is the best in 5G. They are holding the majority of the rights and patent rights and all that, and much more than Ericsson. So that casts another doubts over the minds of the consumers, including me. So I don't want to go to the personal level, but I think there are two things here. You either sell some of the shares to all the telcos, so that all the telcos, all the experts, and the people with experience in the telcos can together contribute to make sure the 5G is working. That's one. And then you break the perception of monopolistic, which is bad for business. We want to make sure when finally when 5G is rolled out, all the vendors out there will get fair treatment. They will get the chance. They have to get the chance to bite the cherry and all that. But right now we are not sure because it's monopolistic.
Okay, so are you saying that? I mean, Ericsson, the deal was at least 4 billion from what I read, and
at least 4 billion higher than Huawei. I don't know why. Somebody tried to tell me that it's because of Ericsson would raise funds. Instead of all the funds come from the government, Ericsson will take it upon itself to raise a lot of funds, while Huawei is not expecting to raise funds, but expecting to get all the funds from the government. That's why the Huawei can offer only about can offer as low as 6 billion. But I don't have the real picture. If you ask me, if we have ways to like auctioning the spectrum, 5G spectrum, we can even sell some of the shares to the existing telcos. Why are we not doing it? Because we all know that the current government is short of funds.
Yes.
Why are not using our advantage, our position to raise funds? I mean, what Najib and Rocky Prue were talking about were actually very practical. Najib is talking about selling the shares of the digital nationals to various telcos to share out the burden. Okay, and Rocky Prue is talking about auctioning the spectrum of 5G. All these things sounds very practical and straightforward. But why are they not answering their concern? If they disagree, I think they have to come out openly to tell Malaysian taxpayers why they disagree.
Okay, so to wrap up and summarize what these two people are saying that you mentioned earlier, Dato Sri Najib has mentioned that it will be good to allow telcos to get their hands in, be part of the project, and that would also mean the consumers will be able to choose between the better network when the time comes, and that will of course eliminate monopolization. And Rocky Brew has also mentioned the same concern, and he's highlighted
Yes,
a couple of countries.
you see, monopolizing in the industry means it will be unfair to the consumers, unfair to the consumers, unfair to the traders, the vendors, and all that. We Malaysia, we want a fair business environment. We want freedom. We want equality and all that. You know, equity and all that. We are very concerned, but even until today, the government still haven't actually answered us why Huawei is much cheaper than Ericsson and Ericsson was selected. They still haven't answered this question, or they have answered it. I didn't know about it.
From what I checked, there hasn't been an answer so far. That's why I guess probably the former Prime Minister even raised that issue in Parliament, and he mentioned, and there are also news about the fact that Kenya and Russia also went with the same formula, which is what we are implementing, the single wholesale formula. And they, in the early days, in the beginning, they ran with it, and they backtracked now, and they're now going with the idea, like you mentioned, and also proposed by Rocky Brew, Dato Sri Najib, that it is better to not put all the eggs in one basket and monopolize it, but give it away, let the shareholders, let the stakeholders run it. So, and Kenya and Russia even mentioned that there were problems in terms of execution, slowing down of progress of rollouts. What do you think will be happening to us, as predicted, as mentioned by DNB, that KL Putrajaya and Cyberjaya will be getting 5G rolled out by the end of 2021, and the whole Malaysia by 2024. Do you think that if we are to continue with the single wholesale, we might not be able to achieve it even by 2024, and even the rollout by end of this year might get delayed? Do you fear that that's what will happen?
As long as all the experienced telcos are not involved, we don't have the confidence that the new setup will be able to do all that. I do not know why the government need to belittle or dump all the or ignore all the experienced telcos who are all of them already running business in Malaysia for many years. Be it Maxis, be it Celcom, be it the YTL and Digit and all that. Why are you not using their expertise, the Maxis and all that? Why are you? And so there's a question of trust. I for one don't trust that you have a reason to dump or to ignore all the current players.
That's right. Okay, but they have brought in one current player from the one who actually set it up, and that is actually Ralph Marshall, and he's the CEO. He's heading the business. So what if the government says,
you're talking about bringing in one person. I'm talking about whole setup, the experience of the team. I'm talking about the Maxis team, the Digi team, the Celcom team, the YTL team. We're talking about the whole team of people. And when they are all in the same field, they will share, they will compete, and all that. That will be very healthy for the industry instead of leaving it at a very monopolistic operation. Okay. We simply don't have confidence.
Now let's hypothetically, let's just say the government decides to still not pay attention to what the lawmakers are saying, what the MPs are saying, and still decide to roll ahead with the monopolistic idea and spent almost 12 billion on this project. And if they were to make a U-turn, like how, let's just say, Kenya and Russia made a U-turn, like how they recently did, if they were to make a U-turn and eventually let everybody else come on board, Maxis, Celcom, DG, U-Mobile, YTL, and all that come on board, a year later, how much money do you think we will have lost by then? From your experience dealing...
Our experience, Malaysians' experience with so-called monopolistic business like Mars, like all that. So we know that when they go into trouble, the government need to bail them out. Just talking about Mars alone, how many times we need to bail Mars again and again, and it's still not working. And then when it's not working, because it's a monopolistic, there are other players cannot come in to even help. We can't even help it. So if it's the concerted efforts of all the current telcos, the chances are it will not fail because they are all together, they are all in it, and then they all have shares, and they have to make sure it happens. But if it's every single dollar or money all come from the government, you know lah. When it's the government money, when it go past, it just go past. Nobody want to take responsibility. So the taxpayers, the Malaysian citizens, the Malaysian people are going to pay for it. So we will end up pay and then don't get the right service.
Yes. Like how we are, like how me and you are experiencing moments ago.
Correct. And then we all know that the 5G is so important. I mean, the connectivity is so important for the future development of ICT. We know how 5G is going to help in China, in the rest of the world. We know it's going to help because the 5G is already also related to AI and things like that. If we don't have a correct 5G, we will continue to lose out to our neighbors. We continue to lose out to our neighbors. We don't want to lose out. Malaysia is already losing out a lot. I just this is something not related to the topic. There's a report by PricewaterhouseCoopers talking about by 2025, some new economic giants will emerge. It says that the number 1 will be China, number 2 will be USA, number 3 will be India, and number 4 will be Indonesia. And Malaysia is not in the picture at all. So we are already losing out in many fields. We do not want to lose out in 5G. But the way this government is running 5G and planning for 5G, we have a lot of doubts. And when we have doubts, they can't even answer our doubts. What's going on? That's why there are a lot of people out there thinking that it could be some of these political leaders, some of these government leaders are using 5G to enrich themselves. That's why the question of billionaires. So it's a 11, $12 billion question on 5G. So too many questions unanswered. So when are you going to answer? When is the Minister of Finance going to answer? When is the Minister on Science going to answer? When is the Prime Minister himself going to answer?
Okay,
or so, nobody willing to answer.
Between the three ministers that you mentioned, one of them is still the same person from the previous administration who actually made the announcement. So the Perikatan National Government, it was under the Perikatan National Government that the 5G was announced, and it was the Finance Minister
who's the multimedia. Who's in charge of multimedia now?
The portfolios have been swapped among themselves, and the old science minister, the old health minister, is
the former science minister.
The former science minister is now leading
the current science minister is Adam Baba, the former health ministers.
Yes, and we all know how he performed when it was for the pandemic issue, the health issues, and he's now in charge of the science portfolio. And how are they consolidating
And
their
then
ideas and knowledge to put it into the rollout of 5G.
and Saifuddin is the current multimedia minister. Am I right?
Okay, yeah.
I remember he said that Malaysia is we have to go slow on 5G and things like that. Do you remember him saying that?
Yes,
He
okay.
talked
Why
as
do you
if
think he suggested such
5G is
things?
not very important. I mean, he gave me impression that the 5G is not is something costs a lot of money to run, and then we cannot go all out for it, but it will take time to do it. It will take time slowly to do it. He gave me that kind of impression. This is the kind of minister we have now. And then the Minister of
Okay.
Finance supposed to answer questions related to money, concerns on why we need to spend so much, why are we not auctioning the 5G spectrum, why are we not allowing the telcos to own shares in the digital national to save some money, to save the government some money, and then and also the experience and all that we need to depend on to make sure we are rolling out 5G on the right footing. So all these questions were not answered, I'm afraid.
I see. So, Minister Saifuddin is concerned that the government will need to spend taxpayers' money to roll out 5G, so he suggested to slow it down. But was he aware, or is he still not aware about the fact that you don't have to spend money where else people can auction off your shares? Like Thailand has raised 3.2 billions, and we can actually raise funds.
Actually, so many people have said you can raise funds by auctioning the spectrum. If it's not the case, why can't the minister say it's not the case? If that's the case, then why are they not doing it? We want answers. Rightly or wrongly, we need answers. You cannot run away from answering these questions.
I have one answer from the ministry, which I think, if I were to, from looking at the administration style and pattern and templates over the last two administration styles, I would say that they are concerned about security breach. Could that be it? And is 12 billion ringgit expenditure necessity to protect our data?
Come on. We are talking about connectivity. We are talking about the 5G, So this is something to be shared, This is not something to be hidden. You cannot hide this kind of thing. We have to share. So I think it was just an excuse.
Or it could be, because I've not heard of it yet. Yeah. But so you're saying that it's data security.
I personally think that that's an excuse.
Definitely out of the window.
To use security concern is an excuse.
Okay. So
it's just an excuse.
Now, so let's just say this is a 12 billion ringgit at stake right now that we are talking about, and we can only begin to imagine how high the amount is going to go. And knowing the patterns of our administration, it always doesn't. It starts with some two-figure billions, and then it goes up to 3 or maybe 4 figures of billions, and amounts that normal people like me can only imagine what the amount is going to be at the end. Should we fail, or should we not be able to continue or delay? Now, my question to the lawmakers and the opposition members is why haven't we came out guns blazing asking this question time and time again? The last time it was first raised by Dato Sri Shafi Afdal, and then Dato Sri Anwar, who spoke about this in July. Dato Sri Najib, the former Prime Minister, said something about this early September. And now you are saying it in October, which is we are already going to November. And reminding the viewers once again, the government, Ministry of Finance and Digital National Berhad announced KL Putrajaya and Cyberjaya will have 5G.
The good question. Actually, at the same time, we have been receiving news that China is coming out with 6G very soon. Wow. And we are still talking about, we still haven't been able to roll out 5G. China is talking about 6G. So we are very much behind time. We have no time to be wasted. So imagine we still in the middle of trying to roll out 5G, and then China started 6G. What are they going to do? Dump the 5G and try to go straight for the 6G? Then what happened to the earlier investment we have already made for 5G, the backbones and things like that? So we have no time to waste. As a country, as a nation, we have no time to be wasted. Not just 5G alone, but the way, the attitude of the government, the way they are not answering questions, worry us a lot.
That's right. A Malaysian Internet Exchange even agreed with proposal of the former Prime Minister. And my question now is again and again.
Openly.
Yes, they did.
They came out openly to support the idea, and again nobody answered.
And that's again, that was the only time it was raised. That it just doesn't seem to have. We're not hearing. People are not hearing much about it. Like the media picked it up. We picked it up, and then we saw that okay, you were talking about it on your Facebook page. I don't see a lot of media vastly reporting on it from time to time, again and again. And this once again seems like one of those days where something just gets left behind for a long time, and long time later you see debts, you hear about debts, you see billions spent and went unaccounted, transparency lost in translation. Do you see this pattern emerging, and do you see it like how I see it, that something is actually going really wrong? The fact that they've been silent for so long, money has been invested, established DNB already, but no action taken. Your Adun area, Sungai Pelek, does not have even a proper 4G connection. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're talking about 5G, China's rolling out 6G. Yeah. Does this not mean we are going 10 steps behind, but 20 steps backwards?
We are already very backward. We need to buck up and do it, but they don't seem to be working. They don't seem to be starting on the right footing. So if our criticisms were incorrect, I hope immediately at least one of the ministers will start answering our questions. Answering our questions on the cost of the tender, why Huawei didn't get it and why Ericsson got it, and then answer why are we not opening up the spectrum of 5G to be auctioned and raise funds, and then why are we not allowing telcos to join the company to buy the shares of the Digital Nasional, why are we not? And then they even haven't answered us why they dropped Maxis in the first place. I don't see a very proper answer why they dropped Maxis. I am not sure how much Maxis have wasted in their earlier investment on 5G, since they were dropped after a while. There's so many questions surrounding this 5G thing. Too many questions. So
they've dropped Maxis out of the race, but they've appointed Ralph Marshall, who used to be from Maxis.
Ralph Marshall is a person. Ralph Marshall cannot represent Maxis anymore.
But also, are you aware of the scandals that he's involved in India with the telco?
I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware.
Okay.
I only heard about it, but I got nothing solid to say. So I'm I'm not prepared to go into anything personal. Yeah.
Okay.
But
so once again, it seems fishy.
But you don't give, by appointing him doesn't give us added confidence. I don't have that. I have that problem.
That's right.
We have that problem.
Maybe.
I would still prefer. I still prefer the digital. I mean the 5G thing to be shared, to be participated by all the experienced telcos in the country so far. And then the fact that we are leaving out Huawei is something I cannot understand. Huawei is doing 6G. It's trying to do 6G in China, and we are dropping them. That also I don't understand. Of course, a lot of Malaysians don't understand that why they tender for 6 billion, which is more than 4 billion lower than Ericsson, and Ericsson got it. We still haven't got answer. I don't want to repeat. But these are all the questions unanswered.
Personally,
could it be true? Could it be true that some of the government leaders are into making money?
It raises the question. it does not. I mean, you cannot discount that question, but it doesn't definitely raises the question. And from what we've spoken, I can only
Earlier, a
understand.
lot of Malaysians already asking a lot of questions on vaccines and vaccination. Also worry about a lot of money wasted, a lot of money made unnecessary. I mean, a lot of corruption may be involved in all that, and that also unanswered. So many things. So this current government has the habit of not answering questions. So you cannot blame us for having no confidence or no trust in this government.
Okay, so we are handing over the responsibility to improve our connection and datas and our technological livelihoods to a government who has not only not answered, but from what we've spoken, I can only conclude that it doesn't seem like they know what they're doing, because that's the only reason probably why they will not be giving you answers. One. Number two, if like you are saying, rent-seeking government leaders. So there's only two possibilities now that we can come and conclude to is, number one, probably they don't know what they're doing, so they can't provide you with answers. Number two is they are in it for the money. And only that.
All these are possible because they are not answering questions. There's no transparency in their actions, in their decision making.
Okay, so when are we going to hear the leaders of different political parties from agencies?
We hope the members of parliaments can ask more questions on the 5G, more questions on the rollout, more questions on the tender, more questions on why they were not why they are not allowing the telcos to participate in the industry. You know, why are they leaving them alone? I mean, leaving them out in the cold. All these telcos are telcos with so many years of experience in Malaysia. So I hope the members of parliament will ask questions to pressure the government to get an answer, to wake them up, to sit up and buck up. Because at the end of the day, we all know 5G is very important for the future development of our economy. So many modern technology are linked to this connectivity of 5G. So it's not a small matter. It is very important, not just because it is very, just because it's what they call it is expensive. It's very, very important for future development of other technology, other modern technology, which are all linked to 5G.
So YB,
yes.
Can you maybe from your experience and knowledge of what you know about 5G, tell us what exactly could 5G improve in our livelihoods? How is it going to make the lives better for the farmers, for the students, for officers working in departments?
My little knowledge about 5G is the speed. Okay, the speed is almost like it's like real time. I just want to give you an example. If we have 5G, and let's say we have a hospital in a very remote area, but with the connectivity of 5G, we don't need to bring the surgeon, the most experienced surgeon in the country, who's unavailable. He couldn't be possibly physically going to that hospital in a remote area, but operation need to be done urgently. The experienced surgeon through the connectivity can give instructions to the surgeon in the hospital remote place to do the surgery as if he is doing the surgery. This is just one example. And then the speed of 5G and all that makes the time for loading, you know, documents, movies, or whatever heavy stuff, very, very fast. I have read a lot of it. I can't quote the exact figure. You know, the speed of loading things become very, very fast. It takes just minutes to upload a lot of movies. You know, just for example. I'm not a real expert on this 5G, but I could I hope I can we can talk about it with inviting other experts to talk about the real advantages of 5G. I went to
Definitely, then
the
maybe we can have.
Huawei headquarters. I visited the Huawei headquarters in Shenzhen 2 years ago before the MCO.
Okay.
With the help of connectivity, you can make the city very smart. You know, you can make the city very smart. You can you can give 100% surveillance of the whole city. You practically every counter, I mean every corner of the city will be connected through the cameras to the 5G technology. So the whole country become very smart. Everything done with a very fast pace. So we cannot afford to run the country without a 5G quickly. I thought I talked about China already. Very soon they are going to start the 6G. 6G. We better back up now.
So YB, another takeaway from this conversation with you is that 5G will definitely improve productivity in all sectors, from government, private,
All sectors.
hospitals,
Education,
school, right?
medical, science, scientific fields, the AI and all that. The smart city, a safe city.
It seems like the government or the ministry is not particularly interested in improving productivity, since they are slowing down on giving you answers in the first place. And it seems like they definitely do not have the right capacity or the capability to put things in the right track to let everybody get involved. Because even first world countries like Russia has U-turned on the single wholesale formula, and they definitely have a very good reason. They said it slows down. It has slowed down. It delayed rolling out of infrastructures and the technologies necessarily needed to support 5G. And here we are still discussing about why it has not been given a fair share. Why everybody has not been given a fair share. You as a YB, an assemblyman yourself, have not gotten an answer. The former prime minister has not gotten its answer. And as a normal tax-paying citizen, I am perplexed by the idea that a government wants to spend our 12 billion instead of receiving billions from telecommunication partners, or even by raising funds when it is actually possible. I can only conclude and summarize that it seems to be corruption is already in place. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it wrong to assume such a thing?
I cannot blame you. I cannot blame you for started to be suspicious, because they are not answering the questions.
Yeah, and so what is the best
Nobody
move
can
forward?
blame you and me for having this attitude of suspicious.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, and it's a very important technology that should already be at place, if not be available maybe next week or next month for us.
No, I'm worried if they don't start the 5G on the right footing. Let's say 1 or 2 years down the line, we fail. Okay, so we will be even much pushed further backward. Correct or not? We started the wrong footing 1 or 2 years later. Not only we lost money, we lost a lot of time, and time is money.
Yep.
And if it's a monopoly, what can we do? If it's a monopoly set up by the government, the taxpayers have to bail the company.
That's right.
Like what happened to Mars? We do not want to have another Mars in digital national. We don't want that. And we believe that by inviting all the telcos to participate, we will not fail. And why are we not doing it?
And there will be accountability.
And then we accountability, because so many telcos are joining. There will be transparency. There will be accountability. There will be healthy competition among the telcos, and then the vendors will not need to be worried about difficulty in getting the license and things like that. You know, no worries of only the cronies who get the license and permits and things like that. But now we are not sure.
We are very unsure, and we are talking about
Yeah, very
billions of
unsure.
ringgit right here from the taxpayers' money. And this,
We will be more sure if all the current players, all the people already in business are invited to go on board. Then we'll be more sure.
like who,
And
YB?
we see
Example,
if it
besides
like
telco,
Maxis, like DG, all the current telcos in the country. And then
and some experts from my
why can't
internet
we invite
exchange.
Huawei? Why are we not using Huawei? They are the pioneers in 5G. Why are we not using them? Hey, who wants to answer my questions?
Our questions,
MOF, Prime Minister, our questions. Prime Minister, Finance Minister, Science Ministers, Multimedia Ministers. Who wants to answer? Oh, come on, have some answers.
Okay. Well, YB, we've spoken
Well,
extensively on we've broken down, we've tried to break down what is the issue. We tried to understand what can be done. We even discussed a couple of solutions, which is the 5G should not be monopolized, and we should not be looking forward to digital national billionaires, but let all the stakeholders be part of it. Let everybody see, from Maxis Telecom, DG, U Mobile, YTL, and any other capable and available telco providers to be to come to the table to discuss and to make sure the rollout is done on time, not delayed, so the Malaysians can enjoy 5G by 2024 and not get left behind. This is a solution that we've discussed, and we both have reached the point where we have to end the interview probably with a question mark, right?
looks like we have no choice. I'm asking a lot of questions unanswered, and we will continue to ask questions until we get answers.
And we hope that will not take a too long time. We hope it won't be until they say we will need to pull out and bail out the companies.
I hope we are not going to hear any negative news in the future that the digital national has failed and the rollout of 5G has failed, and then we heard about 6G already launched in China or other parts of the world. We don't want to hear that.
Okay, we can only hope now, because since nobody's answering questions, we have to take the road that is only going to allow us to hope. All right, YB.
Yeah.
Maybe we will catch up again with some with a few experts about this matter, about what 5G can actually do, more extensive insights, details compared to what you already know. And maybe we can do a part 2 on this subject in a week or so. What do you think? Possible?
I would suggest you to try to speak to the people like telcos and speak to people like Ericsson and Huawei and all that. You know.
Definitely, that's why we would like to see if you would be available to join us.
Yeah. I'm more than happy to participate because I'm very, very interested in having a successful rollout of 5G because we all know it is very important and useful and very important and critical in allowing Malaysian economy to be lifted. We need to quickly make economy bounce back, after so long of a pandemic and all that. We cannot afford to keep doing nothing, not answering questions, and then we don't get what we want. It's our rights to get. We deserve 5G, a successful 5G rollout. And then we don't want to pay unnecessary and making only a few people richer and richer and become billionaires. This, to me, is a crime. It's also a sin.
All right, YB. Well,
okay.
I guess we will have to continue on another day when we have someone who can actually answer these questions. We hope We hope the right people are
Yes.
watching and listening, and you can also maybe share this interview to your groups and to your
Certainly.
colleagues, your counterparts,
Certainly.
and let them know that
Certainly.
you've already done your part to discuss about this, and now it's time for them to answer.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye
YB.
bye.
Ronnie Liu from Sungai
Till
Pelai. Thank you very much for
till we
joining
meet
us once
again.
again. It was a pleasure from us at BBTV. We'll catch up soon on this topic. You have a good evening, YB.
Yes, Mohana.
And to our viewers, my name is Mohana. We'll catch up again on this segment, maybe a part 2 of Digital Nationals Billionaires. Very soon, we'll try to get the experts on board because the question needs to be answered. 12 billion ringgit, what is it doing? I'm Mohana for BBTV, and that was Big Live with YB Ronnie Liu. You have a good evening. Thank you.